You know, in the world we're all living in, crime has found some pretty scary new homes. AI, social media, even just a simple video call. They've become tools for some really new, really personal kinds of harm. So today, we're going to dive into 2 actual court cases to see how our justice system is trying to keep up. And it all starts with a message that nobody ever wants to get. Just imagine that. It's late at night, and that text pops up on your phone. Unknown number. Weird link. A woman, let's call her A, got this exact message. Her heart must have been pounding, but she clicked the link. And what she saw was a pornographic video, and the person starring in it was her. Except she had never, ever made that video.
Yeah, what happened to A is this terrifying thing we now call a deep fake. It was created using just one photo from her social media. We're going to look at her case and also another one about a guy who secretly recorded a private video call he was on with his partner. In both cases, the victims were violated digitally. And in both cases, the people who did it had an excuse ready. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. Let's look at what these criminals actually argued in court. Because their excuses, their logic, it really shows you this dangerous way people misunderstand these kinds of crimes. They tried to use technology as a shield. So this was the excuse from the guy who made the deepfake of A. His argument was basically, hey, it was just for fun. I just edited a photo. It's not like I actually filmed her. He was trying to say that because it was all digital, it couldn't possibly be a serious crime. Just a joke. And in our second case, the excuse was a little more technical. The guy who recorded his partner on that video call, he argued that he never pointed a camera at her. No, he just recorded the pixels on his screen. See the difference? He was hoping that little technicality would put him outside the law. So, the big question is, did any of this actually work in court? Could a so-called fake video really be seen as harmless? And is there a legal difference between recording a screen and recording a person? Let's find out how the law answered. Well, in both of these cases, the courts came back with some very clear, very firm decisions. They looked right past all the technical excuses, and they focused on one thing, the real-world impact of these digital crimes. And in doing so, they set some incredibly important precedents for the future.
In the deepfake case, the Seoul Central District Court was not messing around. They completely rejected the "it was just a joke" defense. The court called it character assassination and made it crystal clear that for the victim, the pain, the humiliation, it was all devastatingly, horribly real.
Okay, so the deepfake verdict seems pretty cut and dry, right? But what about the video call case? Well, the court's decision here was a lot more complex. It all came down to the very specific, very precise wording of the law. So, here's the twist. The guy was not found guilty of the specific crime of illegal filming. But hold on, that absolutely does not mean he got away with it. The way the court thought this through is actually a fascinating look at how the law has to bend and adapt to new technology.
All right, let's break this down. The Supreme Court got really specific here. They said that recording a screen showing a person is technically not the same as directly filming that person's body under one part of the law. But, and this is the part that matters most, sharing that recording without permission is a totally separate and very serious crime. Just because someone agrees to be on a call with you does not mean they agree to be recorded and have that video shared. Not even close. So you might be wondering, why did the courts get so technical about all this? Well, it wasn't about letting someone off the hook. It was about applying 2 really fundamental legal principles to some very modern problems. Okay, first up, deepfakes. The principle here is pretty simple, actually. Impact matters more than method. The law has caught up. It now says that creating and spreading fake sexual material is a crime, period. Because the violation of a person's dignity and the emotional trauma, it's all completely real. The "it's fake" excuse just doesn't fly anymore. Now, for the video call ruling, it all came down to this really important legal idea, the principle of legality. All it really means is that you can only be punished for something that is explicitly written down, black and white, in the law. The law says filming a body, so the court interpreted those words very strictly. A screen full of pixels isn't a physical body. And that's actually designed to protect all of us from being punished for crimes that aren't clearly defined. But, and this is crucial, it is not a loophole. Right. So this strict interpretation is absolutely not a get-out-of-jail-free card. Prosecutors know these defenses are coming. If one specific charge doesn't fit perfectly, they will use other laws against distributing obscene material or invasion of privacy, to make sure the crime still gets punished. The tools might be new, but the crime is as old as time.
So understanding the law is one thing, but knowing exactly what to do if this nightmare happens to you or someone you care about, that's everything. So here's your playbook, the immediate critical steps you need to take. All right, first and most importantly, do not delete anything. I know the instinct is to just erase it and make it go away, but that's vital evidence. You have to screenshot everything, the URLs, the usernames, the messages, all of it. Then, get in touch with a support center, report it to the police, and go lock down all of your social media privacy settings right away.
And please, please remember, you do not have to go through this by yourself. There are amazing organizations out there that exist just to help with this. They offer free, confidential help with everything, from legal advice and counseling to actually working with websites to get the illegal content taken down. Reaching out is the first best step you can take.
So here's the bottom line. That line we used to draw between the digital world and the real world, it's gone. An act that causes real pain, real suffering, is a real crime. It doesn't matter what technology was used to do it, and our laws are finally making that crystal clear. The real question is, as technology keeps racing ahead, how do we make sure our sense of justice keeps up with it?